Today's libation is going to be for Sadie Tanner Mossell Alexander. Sadie Alexander. Here we go. January 2nd, 1884 to March 25th, 1951. A pioneering Black professional and civil rights activist of the early to mid 20th century. In 1921, Mossell Alexander was the first African American to receive a Ph.D. in economics in the United States. In 1927, she was the first woman to receive a law degree from the University of Pennsylvania Law School and went on to become the first Black woman to practice law in the state. She was also the first national president of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, serving from 1919 to 1923. Mossell Alexander and her husband were active in civil rights, both in Philadelphia and nationally. In 1946, she was appointed to the President's Committee on Civil Rights established by Harry Truman. All right, let's get into this Sadie Mossell Alexander quote. I knew well that the only way I could get the door open was to knock it down, because I knocked all of them down. Sadie Alexander. I love this quote. I'm going to read it again. I knew well that the only way I could get the door open was to knock it down, because I knocked all of them down. Sadie Mossell Alexander. Can you imagine the amount of pressure a young Black woman would be under as she's trying to be the first African American to receive a PhD in economics? All the stereotypes about African intelligence and the capacity of women were thrown at her at the same time. There most certainly would have been doors slammed in her face as she walked down the halls of academia, of law, and business. She was a lawyer, an economist, and a community leader, all at the turn of the century when Black people were getting lynched daily and women had just barely won the right to vote. Sadie used her courage and intellect as a battering ram. She has completely changed the world around her. I am thoroughly impressed by this ancestor, as I am with all of them on our list. I am glad she gave us this quote to preserve her spirit of tenacity. Let's pour a libation for Sadie Mossell Alexander. We'll never forget, so never fear. For homies who ain't here, we pouring out a beer. Because of you, it'll never be the same. We keep saying your name while we pour champagne. For the mothers and the father figures, your flames to flickers, we pouring out some liquor. We're the sons and the daughters of heroes and martyrs. Honor you by pouring out some water. Friends, today's libation is poured for Sadie Mossell Alexander. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate that.